Email mastery and building profitable relationships. Developing the skills of writing your emails to get the results that you want. What is email marketing? Email marketing is a form of direct marketing which uses electronic mail as a means of communication to an audience. It is used to encourage customer loyalty and repeat business. So it's a form of direct marketing. The only difference is that, instead of going out to your mailbox to get that mail piece that you're looking for, it's going to be going electronically. It's floating through the air, or whatever you want to call it, into your inbox, through the wires, however you feel it gets to you, gets into your inbox very quickly, very rapidly, and you're able to respond to it, take action to it very quickly, without waiting days for the mail to show up. It is used to encourage customer loyalty and repeat business, and that's something you really need to be working towards, is customer loyalty and repeat business, because like I've said many times, the hardest thing about this whole business is getting someone on your list or to buy from you the very first time. It's easier after that, and that's what you're looking for, is to make sure that those customers are loyal to you and to get that repeat business, so that you're not spending the most where the most cost is, and that's up front getting somebody on the list. Advantages to email marketing: distributes information to a wide range of highly targeted potential customers. You notice I'm not saying customers yet, because a lot of times they're just targeted potential customers. Sometimes you go about getting people on your list just because they're there. They're not a customer yet. But the advantages to email marketing: it distributes information to a wide range of highly targeted potential customers. Generates repeat business affordably and automatically. With the technology that we have today, it's no more one by one sending an email to somebody. It's all automatically. You can sit down, write one mass email that's going to go out. You can schedule it for any time, day or night, that we're soon going to be talking about. And it's very affordable. When you think about the cost, a lot of people getting started up, think when you go to buy autoresponder services, that $24 a month really doesn't, seem like you should be able to afford something like that. But when you start getting people on your list, and by all rights, if you do things properly, you should be generating at least $1 of income per person a month on your email list. So if that's the case, it's only going to take you 24 people on your list to be able to make that kind of money back. It's very cost effective, and it's all done automatically. You can track your exact return on investments. You can find out exactly what people are doing, when they're clicking, how many people are clicking. You can look at your results, and you can find out just exactly what kind of return are on those investments that you've been making and stuff. The email responders that are out there now, the autoresponders that are out there now, have so many unique settings and functions that will allow you to really track. Some of the things that you can track are just amazing. You can tell now exactly the name of the person that bought. You can tell them the name of the person that clicked on your link, when they clicked on it. It's really unique of the things that you can do. It's instant delivery. It's not something that's going to take days to get to somebody. Unless systems are all down, it's instant delivery. You send an email and say, hey, I just sent you an email. Go check your inbox for it. And usually by the time that person gets to the inbox, it's there already. And it's instant response, that they can respond back to you. Lets you push the message to your audience. No longer is your audience, you're waiting for them to come to you. You now, once you have them on your list and you've got you can have the rights to email them, you're able to now push your message to your audience instead of waiting for your audience to come to you. Some of the disadvantages of email marketing: it's getting more and more difficult all the time to distinguish between legitimate and spam email marketing. And if you watch your email box and your spam filters and stuff, you're going to notice that a lot of times that you're going to find a lot of emails that look very similar to the ones that marketers are sending out. And this is a shame, because those of us that are really trying to do things right, we suffer because there's so many people out there that are sending spam that is so closely related to what we're doing, and they use our names, they use right down to our subject lines, everything, to get across to you because they know we've got permission. They watch for what we're doing, and they duplicate that, replicate it, and that's what you're getting in your inbox. So it's getting hard for you to tell a lot of times what is spam and what is legitimate. It's one of the things that I want you to really look at and stuff before you really get into this is the CAN-SPAM Act. I will pull this up really quick, but I want you to go and look at this on your own because this is something very important. There's rules, regulations that you need to follow, and so it's up to you to be reading these kind of things. But basically the CAN-SPAM Act is going to go through, it's going to tell you exactly what you can and what you can't do and the rules that you have to follow. Don't use false or misleading header information. Don't use deceptive subject lines, and you've seen that sometimes where you'll get emails saying, hey, you just made some money, in PayPal or whatever, and you're all excited and you're like, wow, I made some money, and you find out, well, how would you like to have emails coming to you all the time like that? To me, that's kind of deceptive, but you're not supposed to use deceptive subject lines. Identify the message as an ad, tell recipients where you're located, so you've got to have your address and information in there. There's all sorts of regulations that you need to follow and to be able to do this right. I really encourage you to go look at the CAN-SPAM Act to find out exactly what you can and can't do before you get time. Take time to read it. One of the other disadvantages is nearly a third of respondents, and you may have done this yourself, have knowingly entered bogus email addresses. When you sign up for something for free, you're on so many lists, so you just sign up with any old name and email or whatever that's really nothing that you even ever check, and so it's just something that you can quickly sign up and get something. Sometimes people even will set up specific emails just to get those things. So that person, you're not going to get those kind of open rates you're looking for because a lot of your emails are going to be going to emails that really are just bogus email addresses, or they're set up specifically really to never check, just to get so that they get the information and then they never check it again. So that really keeps it down. So that's kind of some of the disadvantages. Other than that, the advantages, as you can tell, really outweigh the disadvantages of email marketing. All right, here's what we're going to be covering tonight as we get talking about email marketing. First, we're going to be talking about email marketing goals. You've got to be setting goals, and anything you do, you should be setting your goals and including these in your overall goal picture that you've set for your whole business. It's really important. We're going to be talking about list creation a little bit. We're also going to be talking about list segmentation so that you know exactly who's on your list, what they're up to, what they've been doing, so you can market more effectively to your list or your emails. Email deliverability, how to get those emails delivered properly and not sent to spam. We're going to talk a little bit about email branding tonight, and we're going to talk about analysis and reporting tonight. So it's really what we're covering tonight is a lot of information, but it's very, very, very crucial. All right, let's start talking about our marketing goals. As your knowledge of and experience with email marketing grows, you'll want to rethink and change your plan to incorporate the new ideas that you've learned and remove those that aren't meeting your expectations. So when you get started, you're going to start out in a certain place, with what you know. And as you learn, you're going to start growing. And as your knowledge expands, you're going to want to start changing things and incorporating new ideas. And a lot of people think that they have to know all of this to get started. That's not the case. You got to get started somewhere. And what you're gonna do is, as you get started and learn more, you're going to incorporate new ideas. I just incorporated new ideas into my own email marketing just in the last couple days. The reason is I learned some more things. I was looking for ways to get around having to send out emails to everybody, so that they got 4 or 5 emails from me a day on the same thing. And there's different things that I was able to do now and to help kind of change that thing. You're going to go through the same process. And a lot of people think, I have to know so much, so I just can't get started yet. That's not the case. You need to conduct a competitive analysis. First of all, if you don't know what you're doing, this is probably one of the best ways for you to start learning and figuring out, is to conduct a competitive analysis. And it's really very simple to do. It's not expensive to do, and it's rather easy. And most of you are all set up to do this already. One of the reasons that you're set up to do this is you're on other people's list. So find out what your competitors are doing. Will give you the edge to make your communication more effective. Get on your competitors list. Most of you are already on your competitors list. Those that are going to be your competitors, you're on their list already. What are they doing? What kind of emails are they sending out? When are they sending out emails? Look at everything you do. What happens, this is what happens. We can send out for a webinar, and one of the best ways to send out for a webinar to get the most registrations, the most response, is to send out a 3-day blast. To send out an email, if it was going to be on a Thursday, you'd send it out on a Tuesday, your first one, maybe another one on a later in the afternoon on a Tuesday, another one on Wednesday, and maybe just one at that day. Thursday, you're going to send one out in the morning and one in the afternoon, and then you're going to send out another one right up until the time that you're getting on, and maybe even one with an hour before and when you're getting on. Now, what happens is a lot of people go, well, man, that's just way too many emails, and I don't need that many emails. I signed up under the first one. Well, the thing of it is that instead of complaining about that, take a look at what your competitors are doing and see if you can figure out why they're doing that. The reason that they do that is because it's been tested time and time again that is the best way to get response, to a webinar, to get people to register and sign up, and that's the way that's going to do it. It's going to make a few people mad. I've came up with, got a few other things in place now that I can kind of take care of that a little bit so that you're not getting all the emails. But that's what happens, and not only that, if somebody signs up on Tuesday, well, what happens on Thursday when they forgot? Yeah, the webinar service sends out something, but this is you send out another one as a gentle reminder. So instead of really complaining about what your competitors are doing, check to see what they're doing and see if you can figure out why they're doing, and keep mental notes of that. Write it down, so that you possibly can incorporate those things into your marketing goals. Keep track of the types of emails your competitors send, when they send them, and who the emails are sent to. One of the things you might want to look at in emails when you're looking, instead of, even if you don't look at all of them in there, just go through and start looking at emails and find out what time of the day that email was sent, and start writing down certain things like, okay, the majority of the emails were sent at 7 a.m., let's take that. If that's the case, my guess is that through testing that everybody has been figuring out that emails get opened up more at 7 a.m. in the morning before people are going to work. They're waking up. Before they get their day started, they sit down and look at their emails to see what come in. Maybe that's the reason. For some, there's other testing, and you might find out that 9 o'clock you're getting another big fluctuation at a.m. Or maybe at a certain time, 5 o'clock in the evening. Why would you be getting a spike of emails at that time? Well, they're going to be fresh in your inbox, and maybe that's the time that people are getting out of work. And we're going to be covering some of this a little bit. Look for the strengths. Look for weaknesses. Look for opportunities. So look for the strengths that you see in the emails. Maybe it's their subject line. Maybe it's their writing style. It's the passion that they come across with. When you're looking for it, look to see what kind of weaknesses you see. It's like maybe they don't have great subject lines that you really opened it for. The only reason you opened it for was because of recognition. You recognize their name, and maybe they don't deliver a lot of value. So look for those weaknesses. Those weaknesses are opportunities. The strengths are opportunities. Maybe you can't match those strengths right now and stuff, but those things are things that you can challenge yourself to beat. But especially those weaknesses, those are opportunities for you to do better in your marketing strategies. So what are your marketing goals? First of all, you need to decide, what do you wish to achieve with your email marketing campaign? What is it that you wish to achieve? It's to get people to buy from you. Do you have a list of freebie seekers that you're trying to get to buy from you? Is it to basically deliver quality value? What is it that your goal is with your marketing campaign? If you don't understand that, you need to come to a place where you can understand what your marketing campaign is all about and what you wish to achieve. Because if you don't know what you're going to achieve or what you want to achieve, how are you going to achieve it? What products or services will you promote? Know what kind of products or services are you going to promote. I want you to notice in these trainings, a lot of this goes back to researching the market that you're in, finding out what kind of products are out there. Are you going to want to promote those kind of products? What kind of products are missing that you could promote? So in your email marketing, then when you're promoting, have a good idea of where you can go to look for the products and what kind of products you're going to be wanting to set up to promote. Maybe it's affiliate products, maybe it's your own products. Include anything that's relevant in as much detail as you can about your products or services. The features that are going to be available in them, the benefits that you're going to provide over your competition. That's something very important. Why just look for the same products that everybody else is going to be setting out for? Look to find products that that have more benefits to provide your subscribers over top of the competition. Maybe one of the things is that you can do better than somebody else is to provide the content through webinars, things like that. Special deals. Really give as much detail when you're writing your goals out of what your products are going to contain. Why are you wanting to reach, and what are your goals with each one when it comes to your existing customer? Maybe some of the goals that you want to reach, and when you're reaching these customers, existing customers, maybe the emails is all going to be centered around subscription renewals, because these are already, maybe somebody's joined a membership, so you want to focus on getting that subscription renewed. Getting that customer to say, yes, I'm going to renew this, instead of basically signing off. Are you going to be wanting to send out cross sells in your emails? Upsells to your existing customers. What are your goals with all of these? To prospective customers, maybe your goal is to get them to that first purchase, which it should be. Maybe it's to come across and show them your brand awareness so that they get used to your branding, get used to you, that name recognition. Maybe it's relationship building that you need to focus on. What are your focuses and what are these goals of each one of these? Where will you find all the content that you're going to be sending out? You're going to be sending out a lot of content in products and of affiliate products, your own products. You need to figure out where you're going to find this content. A lot of people, you would think that it would be pretty easy to find all the content you need, but a lot of people, where am I going to find this? Well, if you don't know, you have to figure out, where this is all coming from. Is it going to be through affiliate products? Are you going to outsource to somebody else to get products made? Are you going to own your own product creation, where you're going to be the one that's creating your products? Maybe you're going to be buying PLR products that you can send out, so that you don't have to invest all the time and money into creating your own products, that you can just spend a less time, or to outsource having that PLR changed and to add your own basically branding to it. Where are you going to find the content? This is all things you need to be thinking about when you're setting your marketing goals. All right, very quickly, we're just going to go into setting up a list. This is very basics. There's a whole lot more that that's going to be setting up the list, and this is just with Aweber. This is getting that list set up so that you can recognize it, and you've got a place for your subscribers to go, and that you can start setting up your broadcast messages and your follow-up message to start building those relationships. First of all, when you go into Aweber, if you have Aweber, now there's other autoresponders out there. Aweber is something that I usually recommend. When you get logged in, you're going to see this, all of these different tabs up at the top. What you're going to want to do is My List, and in this drop-down box, you're going to see there will be one that says List Settings. You're going to click on that List Settings. It's going to take you to this very first page. Now, as you can see, it already was going to give you a list name. It's going to be a default with a bunch of numbers. Now, I've seen people use these before and never change them. My suggestion to you is to change to a name you will recognize. You're only allowed so many characters, and it will stop you when you use those amount of characters. It will tell you if that list name has been used before, and so you can change it. But if you use all of these default numbers, it's going to be kind of hard for you when you start list segmenting and to know exactly who you need to be sending emails out, because you're not going to know what those lists actually are. You're not going to know if they signed up through you through a webinar, or if they came from a product that you created, and if they came through the JV Partners or something. With the default number there, how do you know? So I suggest you change it to a name that you will recognize, so that you will know who is actually on that list. You're going to give a list description in this line here, and that's just a basic description, as long as you want it to be, about what that list is. Maybe they signed up through a money-making webinar registration. It was a webinar on making money online, and so this is what they came on for. That's the list description. You're going to have your from name. Your address is going to be in all of this. As you can see, it'll show you what is required and what is not. The list description is not required, but I would put it in there if it's something that comes in very handy. Contact address. Your company's name and email will be here. I block this one out so we don't do no branding, but your name and company address will be here, and you will be able to edit it and put it in there. And again, it is required, and we'll go over that in a little bit. The next step will be your company branding. If one of your goals is to branding, which you will put your company name here, a website URL, a logo URL. So if you have a certain logo that you would like to go out with your emails, you would put the URL there. Your email signature, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit, that would go here. You can create other global fields. Here's where you can view the unsubscribe. It's already set up, especially in Aweber and most other autoresponders. You're going to have automatically include an unsubscribe link, because it is something that is a must. It's a law that you have to have it. So it's going to already set it up. You can view it right at this point. Here's going to be where you set up your social media sharing, where your emails, once you create them, you can automatically send them out to Twitter and Facebook. You'll go in here, you'll click on each one of these and set it up. And here, once you connect to Twitter, sometimes your picture will show up here if you have one, and your account name and things like that. We're here. So you can do the same thing with Facebook. Just go in there, fill out the required information that you would have. The next step on the same page is you're going to fill in if you want to receive notifications every time a new subscriber is added to your list. Do you want to be notified of that? If so, you put your name, the email that you would like to be notified with here. You add that there. And once you're done with this first page, you're going to save your list settings. That's step 1. And then you're going to go click to go to step 2. It's going to take you to your confirmed opt-in page. The next setting, this is where you're going to, right here, we had your list settings. Now you're on the confirmed opt-in page. This is where you set the on and off of whether or not you are wanting to set the confirmed opt-in. If you don't want to have people double opt in, you would turn it to off. Now, some of the newer Aweber subscribers are not going to have this feature on them. They don't have the option to turn it off. The older accounts still have the on off, but make sure that my recommendation is that you have it on anyways. The only way that I would have it off is if by some chance it's going to a product page that I want to guarantee that somebody that just bought is getting it, because they're telling me that they wanted it anyways because they purchased, and I want to make sure that they get that subscription. But usually I'll have this on, and what happens there is that's where a lot of people, they'll be sending you a support ticket. I didn't get your email, I didn't get any information. When is it coming? When are the videos that I bought going to be here? Well, chances are the reason that they haven't is because they didn't go to their inbox. They didn't find this basically this message that says subject confirm your subscription. They didn't click on the link that's in there, so it didn't fire off the follow-up message that had the page or your product page to them. And that's probably one of the biggest drawbacks of having to have this on. But I would rather deal with that, because as you're going to learn here pretty soon, having this confirmed on is going to really help in your email deliverability, because these folks are saying, yes, I want to receive what you have. They're saying that twice. Not only did they give you the name and email at the very beginning on your squeeze page, they're saying it again when they go to their email and click on the link that they're going to get that's going to say, yes, I want to receive information. Next, you're going to, at the bottom, you're going to have the success page, or confirmation success page URL. This is where you can actually put your your own created page, HTML page that you have created. So if you want to have a more original thank you page or confirmation page, maybe it's your product download page, you can put that right here. And this is the page that they're going to get once they click this link. It's going to fire off and send them to this page. It'll send this to this page. So once they click that, it's going to all of a sudden bring up in a window that page, whatever you have in here. If you don't do anything, it will just give them a default one, which is just going to say, thank you for your confirmation. Something very similar, but this is your chance to send them to wherever you want them to go. And then you're going to save list settings. You're going to click that when you're all done there. All right, and that's pretty much, setting up the list, but a little bit more that's going to be required into your list segmentation is going to be setting up different lists for different things in different groups of people, different responses that people had to your emailings. So it's going to be, so this is going to go right along with setting up your list. It's called list segmentation. The definition of a list segment is subset of a mailing list consistent of records that match specific criteria. So let's say that you have you've had a product launch, and and everybody there is on one list, and you want to start finding out what those people are interested in on that list that you have now. So let's say you start doing webinars, and one of the things that you do is you send them to a squeeze page to sign up for that webinar, which is going to put them on a new list that you created. And what that's telling you is that those people are, a couple different things could be taking place. They're interested in further training, they're interested in webinar training, or they're interested in the topic that your webinar is on. It starts to tell you a little bit more about the person than you just have an email on your list, or they just somebody that bought from me. Now you can start setting up new lists to start figuring out a little bit more about the person that's on your list, because most of the time they're not going to sit there and send you an email and say, hey, I want you to learn about me. It's your job to send out the emails for them to start learning about you, but most of them are not going to do that. Now you are going to get some people that are going to email you back, tell you their whole life story and everything about them, and so you're going to have no problem learning about what those people. But this is going to give you a chance, if you list segment, to really start learning about who the people are on your list. For emails to be relevant, your email list needs to be well targeted, not just to to a targeted audience when you're driving traffic, but now you need to start targeting specific groups that are within that list. Maybe they have different interests, different ways of learning, different products are interested. Maybe if if you were to turn around and sell a private label rights product to that same person, you would want to move them to you would want to get them to go to another list, because you know that the person's going to be interested in PLR rights. So whatever you do, you need to be able to make sure that your emails going out to them are relevant as well as they can be. Successful marketers understand that in order to get the best results, that list must be segmented and broken into multiple groups. Without that understanding, you're not going to, you're going to become that successful marketer that you're really looking forward to becoming. This could be one of the things that, if you have a list already, that is holding you back, because you're sending that same email out to everybody all the time, and you're never changing, you're never targeting different groups. An optimal segmentation strategy can lead to better email responses, providing you with higher open rates and increased conversions that see subscribers turn to customers. While we're on the open rates, somebody already talked. I've seen a question already come in tonight that said, what's a good open rate? And that's a real hard one to really talk, to really come clear on, because there's so many things that go into play with an open rate. One of the things is, if you really have your list segmented down really tight, you're going to have a very high open rate because you're going to be getting, that list is going to be more relevant to that target group that you're emailing to. So you're going to have a higher open rate because they're going to be interested in what you're doing. If you're just sending out to over the same email to basically your overall list, you're going to have a lower response rate. So what's a good email response rate? A lot of the times you're going to get a 2 to 3% open rate. But you know what? The open rate is good, but that's not what that email is all about. That's not what email marketing is all about. It's just to get that email open, because there's usually some kind of action that you need to be taking. So don't just concentrate on the open rates. A lot of times you might end up with only a 2 to 3%. Sometimes a really good subject line or something that's really interesting. Other topics are going to get higher open rates than other things, and you just kind of got to watch to see what you're doing, and you're always going to be working to improve that. No two consumers are identical, meaning you should not treat all the subscribers on your mailing list exactly the same, and that's how most marketing goes. I have been at fault at that myself. A lot of the times you're in a hurry and you don't got time to go through your whole thing. Even as simple as some of your autoresponders have it set up for you to do this, you're in a hurry, you set it up, you clicked all to all lists, and away you go, and you go about your day because you're busy doing some other thing. But you need to understand that everybody on your list, just like the people that you run into on the streets every day, no two are identical. Neither are the people that are on your list, and that's why it's so important to segment your list. The most important part of the process is to properly define the criteria to use for list segmentation. Whatever you decide on, make sure each segment has its own unique message. You're going to have a unique message going out to each one. Lower unsubscribe rates than those who send the same email to everyone on their list. If you want to get lower unsubscribe rates, you need to start targeting your list better with the emails that you're sending out. And list segmentation is going to really help lower those unsubscribe rates. Easiest list segmentation is to segment by purchase activity. This is probably one of the easiest, where basically you send an email to people who have purchased a particular product. You have spent a certain amount of money, maybe they spent a certain amount of money. Maybe you send an email to your most loyal customers. Maybe you send to those that signed up for your free offers to get them to start purchasing. So there's different criteria, different purchase activities that you can start segmenting your list up. And here's probably one of the best ways. I've shown this before. I want to show it again quickly because you need to know your list, who's on them, and what they bought. Let's say your first thing, you send them to a sales page. They did not buy anything from you. What you had was an opt-in box for them afterwards to say, hey, you didn't buy nothing, but for just showing up, I want to give you, basically a free gift. So, and they say yes to that. And what's going to happen, you didn't make your sale here, but they did take your free, you got them on a list now where they took your free offer. So you're going to send them to a squeeze page that is going to put them on a free offer list. And that's telling you now that person, and you basically would say maybe your product name free is all, maybe that's the list title. Down here, your front end would say product name front, or the back here is your back end or your OTO. If they bought that, product OTO. That could be your 3 list names that you set up in this case. If they do not buy anything, you have it set up that they go to a squeeze page to get their free offer, because when they sign up to that squeeze page, say, yes, I want it, you need to send them to something where it says, okay, where do I send your download page to? They're going to sign up for it, and now they're on your free offer list. You know that the people on this list did not buy anything from you yet. If they bought this front end, you're going to send them to another page immediately. That is going, once you've processed that sale, they've clicked buy now, they've processed, entered their credit card information, they bought from you, you're going to take them to a one-time offer page. You've seen it several times where they said, wait, this is a one-time offer, you're only going to see this once, right now. If they do not buy that, you're going to say, well, thank you for your purchase, this purchase. Where do I send your downloads? You have a separate squeeze page set up. So it's a whole new list going to, now you have them going on to a front end buyers list. This is telling you now this person has now bought this front end product. Maybe it was a low end product. What is it telling you about this person? They're interested in your products that you have to offer. they're a little bit more interested than this person. They're interested in maybe particular products, because you know what this product was, and they at least have a credit card and they're at least spending money. Maybe they're not willing to spend this kind of money yet, or it's telling you that maybe you need to work on your copy and your sales process to get them to buy this. If they buy the one-time offer, you basically do the same thing. Thank you for your purchase. And instead of sending them to either this, you're sending them to a completely new page that's going to send them to both download pages, where it's going to give them the front end and the OTO on this one. But basically you're going to say, thank you for your purchase. Where do I send your downloads? And they go to your buyers list. That's probably one of the easiest ways to set up those so that you know what they're purchasing from you, especially from the very beginning, the first sales. Some other things that are really, really neat, and this is with Aweber, and it helps you to segregate the people that are on your list that have opened up your emails and have not opened up your emails, so that you can target better the ones that have not been opening up, or you can send a different message out to the ones that you do. Now, this is just an email that sent out, and as you can look, there's a lot of interesting facts here. First of all, it shows you how many got sent out to this particular list. Told you how your bounce rate, and it told you how many complaints that you had. It showed you when your email went out, and it showed you the difference, at different times when people open it up and how many. Now, as you can notice when we're looking through this, we talked about, timing of your email is very important. This kind of information is really exciting because, as you can see, if we follow this down, at 9 o'clock we had the biggest spike in the open rates to this email. It just went out, but also what's happening at 9 o'clock in the morning. What's with your customers. That helps you to start tracking and say, what's up with my customers at 9 o'clock in the morning that is making them, be there right now to be able to, look at this. Did they just get to work? They haven't really got started with work yet, so they're checking their email before their boss tells them they can't, check the email. What is it? Statistics really have shown that 9 o'clock is a really good time to send out emails. A lot of times you'll see them 7, 8 in the morning, and that might be because that person's list is a little bit different, but a lot of times statistics have shown that 9 o'clock is a pretty decent time. Now, as you notice, we went down at a little bit of a spike at 11. Over here at 2 o'clock, we had another little bit of a spike. Then over here at around the 5 o'clock hour, we had another spike in the open rates. And it's showing you the total opens and unique opens, which sometimes you'll have people that'll click things twice and stuff. So it shows you unique opens as well. But why would people be, opening all of a sudden at this? Why would we have a spike? Well, they probably got out off of work. Now, typically in the past, you might have seen 5:30, 6 o'clock opening a little bit higher because people got home at that time and they started checking their emails. Now, maybe 5 o'clock, the reason it is that it's moved up a little bit is because of technology. You got cell phones that have the internet. So as soon as that person shut down for the day, they opened up and, they weren't able to check their email all day. They opened it up immediately, maybe on the way to their car, or, chances are nowadays the way it is, they're probably checking it while they're driving. But, check to see when these spikes are, because this is going to help you decide also. And if you see something that's consistent over emails that you send out, you can decide, find out best times to send out your emails. Now, what's really cool about this that you can segment, I can send out an email right now directly to these subscribers just by clicking this. To these 326 people that open this message, I can send out a message that's directly targeted to the ones that opened it, thanking them, maybe sending out a free gift to them just for opening it. What's going to tell them maybe the next time is like, hey, let me open it again. He's going to reward me for opening it. I'll open it again. It offers you an opportunity to do things. You also have opened and unopened. Right now we're in open. You could click on unopened, and what that's going to do is going to take you, and let me go back to that page just a second. I have that blocked out here, and I went to the last page so you wouldn't see it, but it's also going to show you a whole list of the name and emails, so I can tell which person, actually the name and the emails of everybody that opened up my emails. They will be listed right there with you. And chances are you're going to see that there's a big, your response rate is going to be consistent over time. So which just tells you something else. You've got to figure out, okay, you've reached the people that like the value that you're delivering, and you've reached the people, that maybe name recognition. how else can I reach those people that aren't just used to opening my emails yet? When we click on the unopened, it's basically going to tell us the same thing. It's going to give us the name and list of the people that did not open. What we can do is we can now send directly to these subscribers. We can send out the same email, or we can change the subject line. Why didn't you open my last email? Or whatever you want to do, because you can now send directly to this. What this is also allowing you to do is just to send out the email to the people that did not open. It's not going back out and bombarding those that already opened and maybe registered or took action that you wanted them to take. So make sure that this is a feature in Aweber that's a newer feature that you have to upgrade to. It is a little bit expensive. It's one of the things that comes with time, that as you're building that you're going to want to do. That's something that I recently upgraded to, and I'm really excited about it because it offers me some opportunities that I never had, or I never even really knew that were out there or paid attention to before. Some other ways that you can segment as you're building sending out your email. Say you're sending out a broadcast. You can send out your email. We'll go into this here a little bit, and when you can send it out. But one of the things that you can do is send to a segment. And with that other feature that we were just talking about, it allows you to add segments to this here that you can choose to send. So you can send it. It'll add that tab once you've added it. That will say to those that didn't open your email, or whatever you want to name the tag. But what you can do is this lets you segment to the people when they got on your list. You can send out to just people that added today, maybe thanking them again. You can send out to the ones that came on yesterday, 7 days ago, 30 within the last 30 days, over the past year, or you can send out to all subscribers. Usually everybody hits active subscribers, sends out to everybody. It usually goes out to all subscribers. But one of the things that also you can do is right under here, you can't quite see it on there with the drop down box, but the next place is after this which segment. You also can choose which list you want to exclude. So you can go down through here and you can choose to include or exclude. Maybe we got one that's saying webinar right here. So these people probably signed up to this list. They were interested in webinars. Maybe you're holding a webinar and just for these people that came on in the past. So you can click include. All of these other lists over here, you can click exclude, and it's only going out to those people on the list, on that one certain list. So you can start targeting the different things. Maybe you have a list that's just JV partners that you just want to target that list. So there's different ways that are really, really simple to get started with, to start with your list segmentation. All right, email deliverability. Email deliverability is about ensuring request opt-in email is delivered to the intended recipient. Always ask for permission and be CAN spam compliant. This is probably the one of the biggest ways to get your email opened up. Make sure that you use a double opt-in. These are some of the laws that you have to follow. A valid postal email address, a valid postal mailing address, not just an email. This is your physical email. A mailing address, and an unsubscribe link. These three things are things that are going to help your email deliverability, and they're a law that you have to have them in place. Subscribers addresses subscribers addresses you ask for. Make sure that you are getting the email addresses that you are asking for, and that's asking for real or primary. Don't just ask for their first name and address. Ask for their real name if you have to, because some people will put a bogus name in there, or they'll put sexy mama or whatever in there as their name and stuff. You need to be watching those kind of things, because think about when you're sending out that thing and all of a sudden you send that email, they forgot what kind of rude, crude name they put in there, and you send out your basically first name, that your little tags that you're adding there. So it goes out there and it says, hey, sexy mama. Well, what kind of email is that going to be picked up? My guess, I would start associating that as maybe pornography or something else that's going on, and that sucker's going to spam. That thing's going, I'm not even going to look at that thing. So make sure when you're asking people on your squeeze pages for their name and email, real name and their primary email address, put it in their mind that they have to give you the real name and primary email address instead of some bogus email that they just want to send it to. Because this is going to get your deliverability up a lot better because it's going to be going to the people. It's also going to help with open rates because it's going to their primary emails where they're going to be checking. Message formatting, text or HTML. If sending HTML, it is important to always send a plain text alternative message, also called the text HTML. It's a multi-part MIME format. Basically, most of the emails out there now allow you to receive text. A lot of times you, as the email recipient, have to click on a little link that says, yes, I accept, this in HTML or any graphics or images or whatever that are contained in that email and stuff. Once you do that, usually you're pretty good. But a lot of them, there's some of them out there that still don't accept them and they don't go through as great. It's getting a lot better. A lot of people are sending out just HTML now because you can do a lot more amazing things with them than just the text. But it's a good thing, to always, if you're going to use HTML, to send the text version as well. And your email responder should provide both of those for you. Limit the use of images. Avoid creating messages that are entirely images. Use images sparingly, if at all. If you're going to use images, a lot of times a simple image, if you're going to use them, is really good. But don't get carried away with images again, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Be sparingly, because a lot of times these images are not going to get your email delivered properly. Carefully using of attachments. Many users are wary of attachment documents due to viruses. A lot of people associate an attachment as being a virus, whether it is or not. If you really have a good relationship with your email list, they know you, they trust you without a doubt, you can get away with this. But a lot of times, most people are going to associate that attachment with a virus because that's just what they associate it with. Use a website URL to reduce recipient fear of attachments. People will click on a link, but they will not click on an attachment. So if you want that to get delivered properly, you want it to get open, don't include attachments. A lot of times those attachments will not get delivered. Words and phrases you choose. Choose your language carefully when creating email messages. Avoid spam hot buttons such as dealing with medications, mortgages, making money, and if you're in the making money niche, that's a hard one to get around a lot of times, and pornography. Be careful with the phrases that you choose because a lot of people will have different phrases, different words that if the email's filters pick those words up, that it immediately sends them to spam. And if you got those in there, even if you're joking around about something, and use the word sex or something in your email for some strange reason, what if they've got that as one of their words that that are blacklisted, not to be sent to them, it's going to pick up on that and it's going to be gone. So be careful with the words and the phrases that you choose. Branding. In pre-internet days, official company letterhead was used for all communications, external and internal. Basically, what you received was typed on a branded bond paper. It was placed in a branded envelope that usually had the logo and everything else all plastered all over it, the company name, and included a business card with a company's logo on it. So branding has been around and it's there for a reason, and you can do the same. It's just switched to email, but you can still do the same. Basically, you can have your branded paper, which is your email. You can have all your logos, everything on it. Everything is still pretty much the same. Fast forward today when 80% and higher of a company's communications takes place through email, branding is an important thing. There's going to be different ways that you might want to be considered. Be careful when you're branding. When you first get started out, you need to, and this goes back to setting your goals. What is your goal? Is your goal when you're branding to brand you, or is it to brand your company? Maybe in the future you would like to sell that company, and if it's branded with your name, it's going to be harder for somebody just to pick that up and take over because everybody's used to you. But what if you were to brand it with just your company name and you basically left your name out of it? A lot of marketers will do that. You'll see them from all sorts of different company names is all you're recognizing that it's coming from. The reason is because they could be setting themselves up to someday sell that company if they chose to, and they don't want it to be branded to them. So careful when you start out with your branding, because it gets hard later on to switch over if you've already branded it one way. So if you're branding it to your name, it's going to be harder to sell your company, to sell your name in the end, unless you're somebody like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that, that you can have a franchise. All right. Why is email branding important? First of all, the biggest reason is because you want to make an impression. You need to make an impression to those that are on your list. Those that are seeing you, that first impression, the impressions that you make on after that first impression are very important, and you want to impress that in their mind. You want to have your name, your company, whatever it is you're branding, impressed in their minds. People are busy, and having a good branding element enables its message to stand out or differentiate your email in the recipient's crowded inbox. So let's say you've branded your emails going out, and your list gets used to that branding. What this does, it makes you stand out above everybody else, because they begin to look for that brand, and they begin to look for, the logos or whatever it is that you're using to brand yourself with. Maybe your company name in the subject line, on the from field, your name. However you're branding it, that's going to set you apart. And people, once they get used to seeing that, they're going to start looking for that branding, over top of everybody else that's just coming in. Emails present an opportunity to expand a company's image and awareness while demonstrating its professionalism. So the emails you send out really presents you a great opportunity to really expand on your image and the image of your company and awareness, and it also it demonstrates a very professionalism as far as I'm concerned. When you brand things properly and it's a nice clean brand, it's very, very easy to understand, it really comes across as demonstrating your professionalism. Email addresses speak volume about their owners and the image they are trying to portray. But so not only your company, it also speaks volumes about who you are and the image you're trying to portray. Consistency in branding is important. If you start it, consistency is important. Don't sit there and change it all over the place. I'm tired of this, let's go to a new look. Well, I'm tired of this one, let's go to this look now. Consistency in your branding is very important, because once you have that recognition, you want to keep that recognition. When somebody's coming to your email, going to their email inbox and looking for that particular branding, you don't want them to have to go start searching for something different and to find out if it's you or not. All right, the email. Will your email ever even get read? The ultimate goal of your email is not to get people to look at them, which is important, but to get them to take some kind of an action. A click, a purchase, a reply, a download, whatever it is, whatever kind of action. Think about the emails that you would be sending out or that you are receiving. They usually, every one of them, require some kind of an action for you to take. They're looking for you to take some kind of an action, even if it's just to further build your relationship with the person that sent it to you. There's always something. So yes, it's important to get that email out there, but what you really need to focus on is that that email needs to get them out there. And if you start focusing on getting them to focus on the action that you're trying to get them to take in that email, you're going to have a whole better response rate of getting that person open, because you're doing everything else right, getting them to really go after this, and this is all going to start falling into place. So when you concentrate on this, on the taking the action part. The biggest complaint we hear is my inbox is crammed full of hundreds of emails every day because I am on so many lists. I bet you've heard that before. I bet you've said that before many times. That is our biggest complaint. One of the biggest reasons that emails don't get open is because people are on so many lists that they're so overwhelmed, and they don't look at it as a learning experience. They just go in and go, oh my gosh, look at all those emails. And they'll click that little delete button. And one of the things that you need to think about is that when that person that really just does not feel like reading any emails that day and just is disgusted with everything, and they go click all, sometimes it might not be the delete button they click, but it is the report as spam button that they accidentally click. or they're just upset that day and they don't really care, and that they click it intentionally. So your job really needs to be getting that person to be looking at your email and getting them to take that action and getting to open it up, because this is true. This is a huge part of why emails don't ever get read. Why doesn't my email get open? Maybe it's got an ineffective subject line. Maybe it was bad timing. It got lost. It got buried. You didn't send it out at the proper time. List fatigue. Your list maybe is just, they're tired of the ways that you're doing things. Maybe you haven't emailed them in a long time, so your list just basically is very poor responsiveness to it. Poor list quality. They're not targeted. Maybe you're not segmented enough. So they're not, so your list quality isn't as good. Your content just plain sucks. I've seen it before where the content that gets put out, and when somebody opens up, I've opened up many emails where the content just plain sucks, and I unsubscribed right away. And spam filters. All of these are reasons, plus many others, of why your email is not getting open. One of the important things of your email is the from field and the subject lines. These are two main factors that drive the open rate, and are the from field and the subject line. Who is it from and what's in it for me? And that's what they're looking for. When they read your emails, they're going to be saying, who is it from and what's in it for me? And the what's in it for me is going to be in that subject line. A lot of times, if they see who it is from, they know that it's going to be something good, what's in it for me. But if not, they're going to be looking to that subject line to find out, why should I open this? What's in it for me to actually click and open? Your recognition factor is the from field. Is at times the most important factor motivating your subscribers to open emails. People are more likely to open an email from a sender they recognize. A lot of the times the from field is the most important factor that motivates people to open up your emails. They see who it's from, they know there's good value, and they just expect something good, and they open immediately. I'm sure you've went to your inbox where you've looked for specific marketers or specific family members or whatever that sending you emails, and you're excited about opening them, and you right away, you don't even care what's in it, you just go open it because you see who it's from. The from field, so with that, you want to keep the from field the same over time. Don't change it. Once you've got that branding in place, they recognize your name. Don't get rid of that name recognition. The subject line, this single line, is where the subscribers will determine whether they open the email or delete. Your subject line has to grab their attention. It has to grab their attention. This is what's going to motivate them to want to read further, the what's in it for me. All right, with some of the things with your subject line, do not mislead. It's against the law to mislead people with your subject line. What your subject line is saying you better be referring to it in your email somewhere, and that better be what your email is about. Avoid promotional words or phrases, things, like make money online, things like this. It's hard when you're in the make money online niche. I understand that. But be very careful with the promotional type thing. Get this for free or whatever, because it's going to get checked as spam. Personalize. You can personalize, but we're going to be talking about this personalization a little bit more in depth here in a minute, because there's some disadvantages of personalization as well. But you're going to want to personalize it. Most with Aweber and most other autoresponders, you're going to have a little tag that you just put it in, and it's going to put their first name. And as you can see, it says fix. You have an opportunity just to put first name. This fix is something special, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. We've got actually an example of it. Focus on what's in it for the reader, the main benefit of your email, the action you want them to take, with the main benefit. That is what you focus on in that subject line. Keep it short. They usually, and you notice I capitalize that, usually have a higher click-through. It needs to be as long as it has to be effective. There are no magic amounts of characters to put in a subject line. A lot of people say 64, 56, whatever, you're going to see all sorts of things that are out there. Usually the shorter the better. They have higher click-throughs, but not all the time. It needs to be as long as it has to be effective. And that's the thing. One of the things that you got to be considering is a lot of emails out there don't will only display so many characters in a subject line. No matter how long you make it, it's only going to display part of that subject line. So in their browser, so be able to think about those kind of things. The most effective subject lines are often not the ones a marketer would predict to win, and that's why it's so critical to be testing everything you're doing. You might have a subject line where a lot of people, I've even had marketers tell me that's an awful subject line. I'm like, oh yeah? Well, it's just got the highest open rate I've ever seen. And maybe I didn't even expect a subject line. I was just maybe a day where I was just like, man, I don't even know. I can't think right now. And I just put something in there. I go, that was lame. And I'll send it out, and it got a huge response, bigger than any other response. So sometimes the most effective ones are not the ones that you're going to predict to win. So test them. Subject lines for list segmentation. This takes us back to segmenting a little bit. If you segment your list, ensure you test subject lines for each segment. You may find, for example, long-serving active subscribers react best to a simple branded subject line and focuses on recognition. They're just looking for you. They're looking for that email recognition, where that branding, where they say, oh, there's so-and-so, I'm going to open that email. You may find that your subject lines don't have to be so critically focusing on that benefit. They can just be something simple that focuses on your brand and you. You also may find newer or more inactive subscribers may need a more benefit-laden subject line to get them to pay attention. So you really need to be testing these subject lines with your list segmentation, because a lot of, if they've been on your list a long time, certain people I know just open an email as soon as they see my name, and it's going to be the same for you. As soon as they see your name, they're going to open that. Other people, you better have an attention-getting headline that beats all to get them to even think about moving to get it open. So test them different types of your list segmentation. Always using the same subject line approach might lose its performance off over time. So if you just use the same approach, chances are it could lose performance over time. Familiarity usually breeds contentment. Usually people get used to it and just start, that familiar name, and they just start opening. But sometimes it brings on contempt, where they're like, yeah, another one from the same, man, enough of this. It's always the same thing over and over and over. I've been on this guy's list for 3 years and he hasn't changed yet. It's just, so be careful with, when when you get content and you just start sending out the same thing over and over. Always be willing to try something different now and then to mix things up and spark a little curiosity in subscribers. If you've been doing the same thing over and over and over, try something different, because what happens is that subscriber goes, what's he up to now? I've never seen him do this before. Just out of curiosity now, they're going to go open that to just see what's going on. And maybe somebody that's never opened one in a long time sees you doing something different, so they want to find out what you're doing. Subject line lengths, no magic subject line length or magic template to follow, so test, 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 and keep on testing. One test shows shorter subject lines seem to work better than long subject lines. Another test shows longer resulted in both higher open and click-through rates than its shorter. So, there's so many tests out there that are being done, and you're going to get result after result after result. And the thing of it is that when you start your own marketing campaign, you might not get the same result, because your list is going to be different than everybody else's. You might have done a better job of targeting. You might not have done a good job as targeting. So it's going to depend, on which one's going to work better for your list, and that's why it's important for you to be testing. Don't just go on statistics and what works best for everybody else. It's great to learn those things and know those things, but don't just count on those are going to be your results. Use as few characters as you can while still allowing the subject line to do its job, and that's the best way to write your subject line. Using as few characters as you can while still allowing the subject lines to do the job. If it's putting your branding in there, if it's putting the benefit, whatever you need to do to get curiosity, excitement, whatever it is that you need to put in that subject line to get them to do that subject line to do its job. A subject line must be longer to contain the words and elements that's needed to get desired response. So if you have to make it longer to contain the words and the elements that you need to get the response, make it longer. Keep in mind that many email clients limit the number of characters they will display in the subject line field. We kind of covered that a little bit. But those are some things that you need to keep into consideration. The role of recognition in a subject line. 2 reasons to use branded subject lines where basically you're putting your name or your company's name in the subject line. One would be a transactional message from you, where an example would be maybe your business name, subscription renewal confirmation, where it's identifying you with that subscription. So this is a transactional message, or maybe it's a sale that you just made. As long as it's transactional, that they're recognizing the business that they just did business with, and the process that they just took. Or you have an excellent reputation for always delivering useful, valuable content, and your main priority may be to ensure people recognize your emails. You've got a great reputation. You always deliver useful, valuable content. You got a high open rate. People are just, you can count on people open it. You might just want to concentrate on that subject line of recognition, and just so that when people are searching for your emails, they find that subject line with your name in it and open. Name and salutation, most personal things in the communication piece, and subscribers see them before they even get to the main features. These are going to be the subject line, and down here, this is where your salutation goes in. Get it wrong from the first line, it will most likely go in the bin. So if you get it wrong here and here, a lot of times this is going to go into the bin. And when you see your email, if you go to your email inbox, you'll see basically the from field, and then you'll see the subject. It'll sometimes say your name, and then you'll see the subject, and underneath that you're going to usually see this part, and maybe the first couple, the first sentence or whatever of in there, that it's going to help you to decide whether or not you're going to open up that email or not. Over here we've got first name fix and stuff. We can see it over here. And we're going to show you another example. So you've got the different things. You can just do name, first name. You can do last name fix. You can do their email that you can put in there as like, their email name or whatever that you would want. So these are different things for you to personalize with. You got your spell check up there. Reasons not to personalize the subject line. No real relationship with your subscribers, and personalizing may seem as being artificial and spammy. And what we're talking about is when you're using their name, where you're personalizing it for them, where you're like, hey Ralph, this is so-and-so. Well, if you have no relationship with your subscriber and personalizing, it may seem as a bit artificial or spammy, because a lot of spam comes with their name in it. So it's kind of hard to be able to tell. And if they don't have a relationship with you, chances are they're going to say, that's artificial. I know that went out to everybody because that person don't know my name. A name takes away space that you might use to create greater effect with your other copy. So maybe putting their name in it is going to take away from you being able to use different words in there for copy. People typing anything in subscription box for first name just to get through the registration process. Remember we were talking about earlier, people put in bogus name and email addresses. If they put in a bogus name, like we were talking before, they put in some weird name, or somebody else types it in, or not a fun put in some bogus name for that person, and you send out your email and it goes out to that bogus name, what are they going to be thinking when they see that? Inaccurate or unreliable data will make it clear to readers that you really don't know who they are. That's worse than no personalization. So if you have inaccurate or unreliable data and you're personalizing these emails and stuff, sometimes that's going to be worse than no personalization at all. Obvious typos. People made typos when they typed their name. If that's put in there, that's what it's coming across. So if somebody typed their Ralph and they typed that RAPHL or something, missed their things up or whatever, it's coming across that way to them, and they're going to look at it, not remember they did the typo. They're going to see it as you're typing their name wrong. Lots of spam put first name and subject line, so perception based on experience is that such emails are either spam or marketing messages. A lot of times based on experiences, they know that spam is coming with their first name also in there. So, be careful. There's reasons to possibly not personalize it. Subject line examples. If you can do question form, like, Danny, are you sick and tired of your boss, where you're forming it in a question. A command action subject line would be, act now, Patricia, and get this once in a lifetime opportunity. So you're giving them, basically commanding them to take an action in that email, and you're doing it through the subject line. Using a subject that says your email contains teaching content. Dottie, use this guide to get past the stumbling blocks. To me, that's going to say, if I was Dottie, I'm going to be thinking, okay, they're going to be sending me a guide that's going to teach me how to get past my stumbling blocks. Create curiosity. Barbara, here's something that you wouldn't expect. Expect what? Well, you just kind of ended it there with your little ellipses and stuff there at the end. So they're like, okay, out of curiosity, what wouldn't I expect? Create scarcity and urgency. John, the doors are opening again for only 48 hours. So basically, you've got a short time to be able to click on this email and get in here and check it out. Use breaking news as your subject line. Phil, my product. So you'd put your product name in there. Just went live. You're telling them some kind of breaking news or whatever that is going out. Or maybe it's to your JV partners, letting them know about your launch, that it's live. Send out your emails now. Email subject lines. If you have a hard time coming up with subject lines like many people do, instead of being frustrated, get inspirations from others. Don't just say I can't do it. Get inspiration from others like everybody else does. Make it a routine of observing your competitors in related and non-related industries. Don't just stick to your same industry, because a lot of the times all it is changing a few little words. Even if it's from a non-related industry, you can still come up with some good subject lines. Create a swipe file where you have a folder on your desktop that you're putting subject lines that really stand out to you that you can use later on, that cause you to open, that you can maybe change a few words in them and use as your own. Find subject line ideas from their email subject lines, headlines that they use on their sales pages, article titles, and blog posts, etc. Anywhere that you see, that they've got an opening subject line or some kind of a headline or whatever, and you find it that it really caught your attention and caused you to take action, take that and use it for a further subject line for you to rearrange it and make it, maybe add or take away a few words. Simple, small, change an example. And this is exactly what I was just talking about. Easily turn that into a winning subject line by changing one word. Here's an example. Let's say this was your subject line. How to write good titles and subject lines that get your message open. That was the subject line that you found, and that interested you. Well, you can take that, use it as swipe, and someday change just one little word. And I want to what happens just by changing one word that makes it even a little bit more powerful. Simple one-word tweak. How to write winning titles, not just good titles. Somebody else said how to write good titles. Yours is now how to write winning titles and subject lines, or you could just how to write winning subject lines if that's what all you're concentrating on, that get your message open. Now we're going to change one more word and take away and change it to a different word, and I want you to read it and see what it does for you. Another twist, how to write the winning titles and subject lines and get your message open. Now before it said that is kind of a dead word. The word that is considered a dead word. If you change it to something like and, now you're telling them they're going to get more than just one thing here. You're focusing on some other benefits here. Before it was just the winning title and subject line that are going to get their message open. Now you're going to show them writing winning titles and subject lines and get your message opened up. So they're looking at this as, before you were saying you're going to learn about these titles and subject lines that are going to get them open. Now they're going to learn about that and how to get their message open. They're going to perceive that as being different. So just by changing and tweaking few little words here and there, you can use other people's things that caught your attention and use it as your own. Simple and small tweaks may lead to greater results. Would you rather see a headline or a subject line that said winning or good? That or and, just simple little tweaks, and you're going to get better results than what your competitors were getting. So using what they're using and just changing it a little bit is going to really help you out. And that's why I'm telling you to really look at what your competitors are doing. Do a competitor analysis. Find out what they're doing and what you can do better. All right, the email message. Personalize, if used correctly, can increase sales by as much as 300% if used correctly. Content of your email, the body. Get your opt-in subscribers to trust you quickly. Remember, know you, like you, and trust you. Personalization usually works. Remember those disadvantages that we were talking about earlier, though. But even personalizing your email messages, the body of it. Add passion in your email. If you've ever read an email that you just don't see that person's passion, and doesn't come across interesting to you. I've read emails where I could just feel the passion from somebody, and it drove me to want to read on, because all of a sudden I started getting interested in, because I was seeing their passion. WIIFM, what's in it for me 24/7. That's the name of the radio station that your people need to be listening to 24/7. What's in it for me? Your email messages must be telling them what's in it for me, for your email message to come across as they're supposed to. Keep your sentences and paragraphs short and simple, period. Do not sit there and put out long, drawn-out paragraphs. Make sure you break them up, and so that it's an easier reading. There's nothing worse than finding an email that the sentences are stretched all the way across all the real estate that you possibly can, that you're scrolling forever to find it, or that maybe they broke them off, but it's one huge long paragraph with no breaks in between. It's a hard read, and it's an easy one for me to delete. Use compelling sub-headlines or mini-headlines to break it up with. Sub-headlines are really good for capturing attention and drawing people back into your email, where maybe they're not excited about one part, but they see that sub-headline where you've added some white space, you broke it up, and they see that and you've caught their attention again, and they'll maybe skip down to that, but you still have them go there. So use compelling sub-headlines. Convey your message in a clear and concise manner, but remember, I didn't say keep it short. You do not have to write a simple short email. Sometimes simple and short makes it better. Other times you got to say what you got to say, and you got to make that email as long as you need to say it to get what you need to get out there. So convey it in a clear and concise manner, but I didn't say keep it short. All right, broadcast messages. There's a couple different kind of messages we're quickly going to cover tonight. Broadcast and follow-up messages. The first is a follow-up. This is Aweber once again. When you get inside to the tabs, you're going to go to messages. You're going to click on broadcast. It's going to open up for you to create a broadcast message or to create a split test broadcast where you can compare the two messages against each other. So you can create your split testing right there. Here's a message that's already set up. This is one that's already set up, ready to be queued, but you're going to click on that create. You're going to, once you do that, you're going to create your message that you created, and then you're going to schedule it for sending. Now, follow-up messages are sent in sequence one after another, so maybe over days. Broadcast messages are sent once at a specific date and time. You can create a date and time specific email broadcast and scheduling its sending. And over here you see a picture where basically you can send it out immediately, where once you click queuing that thing up, it's going out, or you can choose to send it out later, which it'll bring a pop-up box that you can choose the date and the time you want it to be sent out. So you can basically send repeat email broadcasts to reinforce your message. So you can set up more of your emails. There's a feature that will allow you just to copy the same one if you just want to copy that email and send it out, and to send it out at a different time and date. So maybe you want it to go out twice that day. You send it out once in the morning, you queue it up to send it out at maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon when you want that email to be fresh and right up front again. All right, with your email broadcasts, what you're going to do, you're going to have again that you can set up the time and date. You'll click this. It will bring up a little calendar for you to choose the date, the month, the date, and the year, and you set out the time. If this was it would be 9:46 a.m. You can choose at whatever time you want. Send to segment. Which segment do you want to send it to? That's what you're going to choose it next. Is it all subscribers, or is it some that have been added over the next day? Whoops, we clicked that there. The next one is you can include or exclude other lists that we've kind of went over, but you can include all of them, or you can do just certain lists, whichever one you choose. So you're going to just go right on down the line. You're going to, whether you want to track clicks, or not, and you're going to have to send out an HTML message to track your clicks. You're going to want to decide whether you can do social media sharing, whether you want it to go on Twitter, Facebook. It'll give you those examples for you to use. All right, follow-up messages. You decide your interval style. The two common interval styles that you're going to have are send rapid-fire emails one after another, so you could possibly send a message out every day or even twice a day or even more. I wouldn't recommend this unless your niche tolerates aggressive marketing like the Make Money Online niche. On the Make Money Online niche, you're going to get away with the rapid-fire emails. There's going to be certain emails out there, like if somebody's buying flowers online, maybe you're going to want to stick to certain occasions and holidays and things like that, or just sending out promotionals once in a while or something like that if that was the niche you were in. So be careful about this rapid-fire intervals unless you're like in a really aggressive marketing niche. But you can basically send them out one right after another every single day that as long as you have them set up. Or you have the space, sending out 1 or 2 messages a week, and then waiting 1 or 2 weeks. When used correctly, people on the list begin to anticipate and wait for the messages. This would be like we were talking the flower niche or something, where they begin to wait for your promotionals, where you're sending them out the special offer now and then, or the holidays that you're sending out to get them to buy flowers or whatever, if that was the niche you're in. So depending on what niche you're in and which one of these interval styles you're going to want to use. Both of these styles, what they have in common is that they both are consistent. You stay consistent at what you are doing. The rapid fire, if your market tolerates it, you stick to that thing. You might have to change some of them, maybe change a few of the intervals, whatever, stick to them. The consistency is everything. All right, follow-up email series is building relationship first. It's always important that you know how to create follow-up messages in your autoresponder. The thing you should focus on is building your relationship with your list. So with that subscriber, you need to focus on building relationships, and follow-up messages are great for doing this. Don't initially think of selling first. Think pre-selling in your relationship. A lot of times they still haven't bought something, or you maybe tried to get them to buy something and they didn't do that. They took your free offer. So you're going to have to maybe think about pre-selling them a little bit more. Maybe they came on just for something for free to a squeeze page. So initially don't think about selling first. Think about pre-selling to them. Getting them basically warmed up, ready to buy. Before anything is sold, you need to have established yourself as a reliable source. Create with confidence. Don't sweat over your follow-up messages. Your prospects are waiting for you. They're waiting for these follow-up messages. No matter what interval you choose, yeah, some people are going to be upset at a rapid fire, but there's a reasoning for it. It's because in those highly competitive markets, you need to keep yourself out in front of your market and stuff, and that's why that rapid fire works so well. Is because you're keeping yourself out in front of them. If you don't, your competitors are going to. Here's the follow-up message. Basically the same thing. Go to the tabs, click follow-up. You're going to be able to, right here, add new follow-up message. You just click that tab right there, and you're going to be able to create your message. And here's an example where it shows a whole list of follow-up messages. It shows the message. Here's number 1, which goes out automatically. You can't change number 1. It goes out immediately. So as soon as somebody double opts in, or it's going out to them. This one here is saying it's going out 2 days. So this certain one is going to skip a day, send them number 2. This one here is going to go out 3 days later after this one. This one here is going out 4 days, or excuse me, this is the message. Sorry about that. We're over here. The interval is 0, going out immediately. This is the first 1 day, going out the next day after this one, the next day after. Here we're skipping a day. Then we're sending out another one the next day, another day, skipping a day, so it's 2 days after this one, a next day, and a next day, and so forth. And it'll basically show you how you got them set up. You can be keeping track of all of these, your open rates and things like that, what's going on, so that you can find out maybe you need to be changing subject lines, or maybe you need to change your intervals a little bit. All right, here's your follow-up email series on what you need to be including. We're just going to cover the first 4 because you can go on forever with follow-up emails. Send immediately after your customer subscribers takes action. Whatever action they take, you send them follow-up email 1. Welcome them, reassure them that the right decision has been made. This is what you're going to be wanting to include in these emails. Mention the product or newsletter name again. Let them know who you are and what they just did, what they just bought or what they just subscribed for. Include any product download pages. So even if you've got a confirmation page for them to set up get the download page, include a link in there so it's another way for them to get it in case they missed it or accidentally clicked off of it and didn't realize what they had. Your main goal is an introduction to you and to make sure the customer subscriber gets what they opted in for. Number 2, start with mentioning the product or newsletter name again. Let them again know who you are. Let the subscriber know what they can do with the download files and how they can actually download them. So you want them to begin to let them know that you care about them and that you care that they get things happening. So let them know what they can do with things. Maybe they just want a private label right products, even though you sent them, what their rights were. Send it to them again. Let them know. Say, hey, you can rebrand this package. I would start doing that, and I'll cover that here in a few emails. Assure them that you're there for them. Ask them how they're doing with the product. Let them know you care, basically. Giving any additional resources you might have to offer. So if you have resources that would help them with what they've got, offer them to them at that time so you can start delivering more value. You can mention your affiliate program if you haven't yet. So if they haven't seen your affiliate program and you have one, maybe you say, hey, how would you like to make money with a product you just bought? Follow-up 3, you might want to start asking them if they've had time to work with your product. Again, I would make sure that you would introduce yourself, let them know who you are in the product again. It's still new in the process. Ask how your product has helped solve any problems for the customer. Start getting them to possibly start opening up to you and responding back to you. Maybe what can make it better. You can recommend other products, resources, etc. that you have, but keep it in a very soft pitch. Use related content in your follow-up to pre-sell your offer. So if you're going to pitch at this point, which I would start pitching here something pretty soon, keep it a soft pitch. And you're still going to want to be thinking about pre-selling them. So that email follow-up, if you're pitching, is going to be pre-selling them leading up to that pitch. So you're going to want to use a lot of related content in your follow-ups to pre-sell your offers. Follow-up 4, offer nothing else than your personal help. So now you could just go back to saying, hey, instead of a pitch or anything, it's just saying, hey, what can I do to help you? Continue building that relationship. Include something of value that relates to the original product or to an upcoming or previous offer. So maybe you got a previous offer or something that's upcoming that you can talk about, that you want to give them something else of value that relates to that. How many follow-ups are in a series? There's no magic number once again. There's just a lot of different, it's going to depend on your targeted list. It's going to depend on the segment, how you got it segmented. It's going to depend on the niche that you're in, on how many you actually send out. Some are going to tolerate one right after another, and some are you're going to have to space them out. So test it. Your email list is going to be different than anybody else's and unique to you. The follow-up is all about building a relationship and creating the right first impression. Focus on delivering and over-delivering value in both your follow-up and your broadcast messages. Crafting your email message. Remember to inject your personality and style as you're building your list. When you're crafting your email message, people want to get to know you. They want to understand your personality. So let your personality shine in all that you do. But once you do, be careful here, because once they get to know you, don't go trying to really change your personality, because they're not going to accept it. If you're coming across as, let's say, probably a great example of this would be maybe in the Christian marketing world, where you were coming across as a big Christian, all of a sudden you started talking about some things that maybe just you didn't come across as before, and they're going to start doubting, who you really are. So be careful when you start injecting your personality that you stick with it. Promote things that excite you. If it doesn't excite you, it's going to be hard for you to excite your customers when in that message. Keep your email content light, creative, and original. Provide good content, focus on value. I don't care what you're doing, focus on value. Outline the benefits of your product and services. You want to always stay away from the features. Unless it's a software product, you want to talk about the features, but focus on benefits. Provide a clear image of what you are offering. Really make it clear to what they're offering. And you really better be thinking about what that subject line just said. A lot of times creating your subject line, you might want to read your email message afterwards and then relate that subject line. A lot of times it's easier to write a subject line after you've written the email because you might come across some words that really stick out to you that is your subject line. Give a simple yet strong, clear call to action. Specifically tell people in a clear way what you want them to do. Don't let them guess. Don't just take it for granted that they're going to do that. Tell them what they're going to need to do. Use social proof in your emails. This is a powerful psychological mechanism by which we look to others to guide our own actions. If everyone else is doing it, so can I. Example, product name has been labeled the runaway hit of the summer. Therefore, or there have already been over 5,000 copies of the product, of the certain product name, sold in the first 4 days. So what you're saying to that person is, look, everybody else is doing this. You need to jump on board. Use testimonials as social proof and credibility, where you're showing them what other people are using. Now be careful with testimonials that you can actually prove those results. Use urgency and scarcity in your emails. Fear of loss is one of our biggest motivators. If we think we're going to lose out on something, that's going to be a motivator. You will become effective when you become good at communicating that something is time sensitive or quantity bound. Take a look at your own actions. What do you do when you feel the sense of urgency or scarcity? Let's say you were, let's go offline here a second. Say you were going to the bank. You had to go to the bank today. You procrastinated all day long because you knew the bank was open until 5 o'clock. Really no urgency there for you to get there at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you're going to wait. All of a sudden you look at the clock and you're like, wow, 4:45 and I live 13 miles away from the bank. I better get there now. You're going to take some action and you're going to move because there's urgency there. There's scarcity. If you don't get there, that bank's not going to be open. It's going to be gone. It's going to be closed up. So you basically use that urgency and scarcity. It's a huge motivator. Example of scarcity. Why is it so important for you to read the moment it goes live? Not only do I want you to not want to miss out on the bonus package that I will be offering you, but also because of the fast action bonuses that product owner is getting ready for you. They will be as follows. First 77 buyers and on down, it shows you what there's going to be going on. You will have to act fast to get on these awesome bonus deals. They will be gone soon. If you miss the deadline, then you have already missed out. Don't let them all get away from you. Why shouldn't it be you that gets the good? That's just an example of using scarcity and urgency in your emails. Eliminate the risk to customers. Eliminate the risk factor. The money back guarantee. If it's got a guarantee, go ahead and talk about it. Say, hey, it's not going to hurt you to, there's no risk to you at all. This guy's providing a guarantee to you. This is my guarantee, that you can say. The clearer, stronger, more detailed the guarantee, the more credibility and impact it will have on a buyer. So maybe it comes with a 7-day guarantee. Okay, great. What if I forget in 7 days? Well, what about it comes with a 30-day guarantee? Okay, I got longer. That's a stronger, more and the more detailed the guarantee, the better credibility and impact it's going to have on the buyer. This will eliminate the feeling of taking some kind of big risk if they take action or purchase from you. A call to action, make sure you give a clear call to action, specific instructions prompting the reader to take specific action. You must lay out exactly what you want the recipients of your message to do. Don't let them guess, and don't you just take for granted that they're going to actually be able to figure out what you want them to do. Provide an unsubscribe link. Always, most of your autoresponders will already provide this for you. It's not going to be an option. It's a law. The Canned Spam Act requires that you give email recipients an opt-out method, and you must honor it. If they opt out, you don't sit there and do everything in your power to get them back or still continue to sell emails hoping that you'll get them back. You have to honor it. You don't want to have a lot of unhappy subscribers on your list, or worse, a high amount of spam complaints. I would rather have happy unsubscribers than I would unhappy subscribers on my list. Here's basically what they're going to get if you were an AWeber. When they click on that unsubscribe list, it's going to tell them all the list names here that they're subscribed to, and they can unsubscribe to any of them they want, save their settings, it will automatically unsubscribe. You have to allow them to be able to unsubscribe from your list. And that's a lot of these people. A lot of the people, I want you to understand, a lot of people, they don't have a list management tool yet, so they're using their regular list and trying to send out to people So I get a lot of times through a Gmail account and stuff, which doesn't have a way for me to unsubscribe, and they're trying to get me to purchase something from them or whatever, and I keep getting email after email after email, which really irritates me. And the reason of it is I don't know who they are. They found me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever they might have found me and found my email and just started emailing me. You don't have the right to do that with somebody. That I did not choose to be on your email list, and yet you're not allowing me to get off of that list. So that's not something that's legal. Identifies you, your signature file, the text you insert at the end of all your emails. This identifies you, your company, and your products and services. We showed you a picture back toward the beginning where it showed you where to put in your signature file, and this is something that you save that will go out in each of your emails. It shows, it's basically at the very end of your email. A lot of times it's right before your subscriber link, where it'll basically give a signature file, and you'll see it usually the same one until they change it. It identifies you, your company, your products and services. Should contain company name, your contact details, website address, and marketing taglines. These are some things that you should include in it. It can also be used as a marketing or sales tool, where maybe you want to have a product, you want to put a little quick header line there for them that to catch their attention, and an affiliate link or a link to a sales page you want to take them to. Be careful, don't be offering too many and give them too many choices if you're going to use it for that. A signature file is a powerful marketing and communication tool available to businesses. Make sure that you use one. Mailing address of your business. You must provide a mailing address and contact information for your business. Your message must include your valid physical postal address. These are your choices. You have to have your current street address, has to have a post or a post office box you've registered with the U.S. Postal Service, or a private mailbox you've registered with a commercial mail receiving agency established under Postal Service regulation. So basically, this is what CAN Spam Act says, that you have to have, you have to include one of these as your address in there. You can't just make up some bogus address so people can't get a hold of you. You have to include it. Okay, the last point in this section of email marketing is very important, and that is to test your email. Check and test your email. Check the formatting of your email. Check all the links. Check the spelling. Now, how are we going to do this? Basically, what we're going to do, once we've created our broadcast or our follow-up messages, we're going to click right down here where it says step 1. It's going to give you a chance to test your email. This is going to send an email to the address that you fill in right here where it says step 2. You're going to click test. It will open up this box right here. It's going to, you put in your email, you click send test, which is step 3. You're just going to click send test. It is going to send you a copy of the email that you just wrote to the inbox of your choice. Go back to that inbox before you click queue this message up. Go back to this email address, look for that email, and this is what you're looking for. Formatting of that email to find out, make sure it looks good. It's not all stretched out across the page, that you can see it. That it's proper, not all run together. That formatting looks good. Check all the links to make sure that the links get properly tested. You've seen many a time, and a lot of times it is a marketing ploy. Oops, I forgot the link, or oops, the link didn't work last time. And you're like, yeah, right. Well, make sure that you check the links, because you're going to hear about it if you don't, and if they don't work. Sometimes you're in a hurry, you forget to do this. That's the time that the links don't work. I've done it. Check your spelling. Make sure there's no terrible spellings that are just standing out. And basically that's done by, once you have it created, click on test, send it to this address. Do not queue this email to send up unless you have it sent to go at a different time. If you got it sent to go out right now, do not queue it until you went to this address to look at your email. Do a spam check. Look for a score of 5 or lower. The lower the better. Basically what you're going to have is, once you've got your email written, here was where you tested it. Right here is going to give you the spam number, where it's telling you, this one here, it's picking up some pretty good things saying that, okay, you might be getting spam. You're getting close to that 5 mark. We haven't queued it yet. We're going to test this. So we're going to click on this 4.3 that's here. Yours is going to say whatever spam count it comes up with. It's going to bring up this page. Basically, it's going to tell you that this will be your list name that you had it under. And this is going to give you the score breakdown to tell you why they came up with this 4.3. It's saying it's still good to send, but it's getting close to being bad. In the subject line, yours said at no cost. So, they're really picking that up as something, a marketing ploy or whatever, at no cost. A lot of times it's going to say, there's nothing for free or whatever. That's what their thinking is around that. It's giving you a little bit higher spam score. The body, HTML included a message, 0. Body, the message only has text, HTML, my parts. So maybe it's just an HTML message. If you do, it's usually going to be a 1.7 almost every single time in Aweber. But it's giving you a 4.3. Anything, they're going to tell you if it's okay to send. Down here below, we don't have it all down here, but it's going to show you in your message. They will highlight in yellow any words or whatever you use that it's picking up as spam. So at no cost would probably be highlighted in yellow down here for you to go through and change. All right, using the canned email, and we're almost finished here. A lot of times you'll see the same message coming out from every marketer out there. It's the same exact message with no change at all. That's the canned email. It's the swipe copy that maybe your JV partner sent out, or you've found on a affiliate page for you to send out to your list, where they've already wrote it for you. And a lot of times we'll just pick it out of there, copy and paste it, and send it out. If you don't be careful with these are the ones that you'll always usually notice where it says first name fix. Sometimes that happens where you backspace or something, where you took out one of the characters that are supposed to be there by accident. But a lot of times you'll forget to change where it says add your name or first name fix. If they've copied it out of Aweber and you're not using Aweber, it's not going to use the same tags. So be careful with just using them. But you just spent a good deal of time and effort, and maybe even some ad dollars, to get subscribers. Think about that. Time and effort is taking you to get subscribers. You then put even more time and effort into building a relationship with them. So why would you want to send them a canned pitch? The same thing that everybody else is doing. Why would you want to be identified as the same? Why would you not want to be differentiated than your competitors? It might be great copy and has been tested for conversion, but it still is not you. So even though that marketer is saying, hey, this swipe copy has been getting great conversions, use it. Most of them will always tell you, but add you into it. Add your own personality and spin on things. We're not saying that you can't take advantage of the pre-written emails, copying their structure, using some of the power words that they use. These kind of things are totally okay, but put your personality into it. Change it so it's coming from you and not the same thing coming for everybody. Identify you in these emails. It is crucial to put your personality into the message. And remember, once we put that personality in the message, you don't want to change it. So if all of a sudden you're using canned emails, are you not changing your personality to somebody else's? We are all extremely busy, and it's real easy to just copy and paste, but think about things. Take the time to craft your own email copy in your own writing styles. And remember, your personality is what makes your mailing list unique over top of everybody else. And after all, you're trying to differentiate yourself from the crowd. We've covered that many, many times. Your personality helps with that. What to promote to your list? Be picky about what you promote in your emails. Be honest when you're making recommendations. If you feel it's a good product, great. If you don't think it's a good product, don't lie and tell them it is. Know exactly what you are promoting and that it is exactly worth the value that you're portraying in your email. The affiliate products you promote often come with their own articles and swipe emails for promotion. You can use these also in your follow-up messages when promoting through your follow-up series, but think about the canned that we were just talking about. You can also use, what I kind of talking about there though, is what you can also use some of these swipe emails in your follow-up series, that you're setting up. So maybe you want to promote a product in your follow-up series where you can use some of these canned swipe emails, change them, add your own personality, and include them in your follow-up if you're having a hard time coming up with follow-up emails. That's a good place. One other thing that you have to be thinking about when you're doing affiliate marketing and promoting affiliate products is to have a disclosure in there that yes, this is an affiliate product. The one that we got here, you should assume that the sender of this email has an affiliate relationship and or another material connection to the providers of goods and services mentioned in this message and may be compensated when you purchase from the provider. You may also perform due diligence before buying goods or services from anyone via the internet or offline. So basically they're giving you a disclosure saying, yes, this is an affiliate product. You click on the link, you purchase, I'm making money. FTC rule says you have to have this in there now. So when you're promoting to your list, that has to be also included. A lot of the times this becomes the signature file. You can put something like that in your signature file, write your own disclosure, but make sure that you have that included if you're doing affiliate marketing. In summary, let your voice shine through. After all, you are the list owner and responsible for building the relationships. Over deliver always. In all that you do, do your best to over deliver. Stay in contact with your list. Make sure that they remember who you are. Don't just, unless you're in a niche that you don't need to stay in contact with them quite as often, make sure that your list is always remembering who you are. If they forget, you're a goner. Build credibility, become the marketer of choice. Do this by always delivering great content that will benefit your list and help them succeed. Always test and look for ways to improve. So when you get started out, like we were talking about at the beginning, there's going to be always ways for you to improve. I find them all the time. I try to do my best to improve. You need to be looking for those as well. Don't let fear hold you back from getting started. That's probably one of the biggest things that I can tell you right now is don't let fear hold you back. We just covered a lot of information tonight. And you're probably sitting there going, oh my goodness. All of that just to send out an email, and all of a sudden you're thinking, I can't do that. I don't know how in the world I would possibly do that. Don't let fear hold you back. You can do this. You just believe in yourself. You can actually do this. Remember, you're going to be looking for ways to improve as you get going. You might not hit it perfect right from the very beginning. Look for ways to improve. Just get going and don't let that fear hold you back. That has held you back time and time and time again from so many things. There's so much to learn. There's so much to cover that fear just begins to setting in that you're not going to be able to get it all done. Believe in yourself and it'll happen. Don't let fear hold you back.